2 questions, Mr. Zul. Are we getting new cards revealed tonight? I think so, after this round. Have we seen any Typhlosion tonight? We have seen 0 Typhlosion. It's been very disappointing, and I'm ready to retire. Okay, so Raging Bolt is going first here. We do have the Nest Ball for the Fan Rotom. I think Dusknoir's still broken. I think Dusknoir is a good Pokemon TCG card in the current standard format. Quad Squawkabilly versus Quad Fez. A classic showdown. Of course, Fez or Squawkabilly with the energy acceleration versus the higher damage output of the Fezandipity, but a little bit slower to set up. Obviously, you need those 3 energy attachments to get to the snipe attack. So the Squawkabilly is going to have mounted a massive amount of energy up to that point and can lead to the opponent on the Fezandipity side being overwhelmed and just wanting to concede to not have to put up with how much energy they have in play. So we'll see how this one plays out. Have you ever played Tord? Yeah, once in the Players' Cup. Are cards revealed before Top Cut? Yes. For man, was a 2-1-2 pitch outline enough? I don't know. Test it out. See what happens. So it is the Raging Bolt. They found their Fan Rotom. The Hoots are on the way. We might get into the Ditto, possibly. Real question, have you played against Tord and Cube? I don't think so, no. Would you ever put Fan Rotom and Golden Goat to Dunsparce? I don't, no. Eating up the bench space has got to be terrible. To be honest, was Tord hard to beat? I mean, that's just not really how I think about Pokemon. Like, not like, yeah, I don't know. It's not really, like, he's better than most players. So he's harder to beat than most players, I guess. He plays better than most players. It's like all about deciphering the situation and then making the optimal line of play. Got a Poffin, got an Ultra, got 2 Ultra Balls, and Sandy's actually like okay. The thing is, you want to get the Squawkabilly out of the active though. That's like the problem. You don't want Squawkabilly in the active. Asking if Tord is hard to beat is like asking if weights get heavier when you lift them. Yeah, basically. Yeah, it's like he's gonna be harder to play than the average player, but like, yeah, he's gonna be way harder to beat than the average player. But it's still just like, it just comes down to your like, how do I even explain it? Like, I mean, yeah, he's hard to beat than the average player. Is Tord hard to beat? Like, I don't know. Like in comparison to like what? Like, yeah, I don't know. Other good players in the Pokemon TCG? I don't know. They're all pretty good. Good Pokemon players are good at Pokemon. What new decks have seemed like they'd be good? Zoroark. Be kind of sad if I said no, it doesn't matter, it's all RNG. That'd be kind of unfortunate, but definitely not like that. I appreciate the 3-month resub there. Blank. Or just has the best RNG. Some do be saying that. Why do you think Zoroark is so good? I think it's the best thing to come out Journey Together. I don't think it's like ridiculous. There's just not that many new good things that have Journey Together. So we go with the attachment active. Ooh, honestly, Budew here seems pretty strong. The field on the other side is not that strong. We got a couple Hoots, a Fan Roadie, and a Fez. Budew actually seems pretty good here. As a noob, can someone explain who Tord is? I have heard that name a lot, but I don't know why he's mentioned so much. He's basically like the LeBron James of the Pokemon TCG. Best player in the game currently. Yeah. Best player in the game currently. Basically the LeBron James of the game. Alright, there we go. Run to the Budew. Isn't Squawk in a Pult deck a waste of bench space? Not if it allows you to play the game. That's just like not how Squawk works. Like, waste of bench space, it's like you don't put Squawkabilly in play unless it's helping you play the game when you otherwise wouldn't be able to play the game. So it's like that's not how Squawkabilly works as a card in literally like any deck. Decks just like put it in play more often than others, but it's like oh, I don't play Squawkabilly because I lose a bench space. It's like, what do you do in the games where you wish you had Squawkabilly? I just lose those games. So I just like lose, but I don't have Squawkabilly on my bench. It's like, oh, okay. So it's just like how high of a percentage of games would Squawkabilly get you to play the game versus just lose the game? And if it's high enough, you play Squawkabilly. And the Dragapult players who are playing Squawkabilly think that the percentage of games that they don't play without Squawkabilly is high enough that it's worth including the Squawkabilly, despite losing a bench space to the Squawkabilly. Yeah, it's not as simple as that. Is Lili's Clefairy not as much of a tech card as we thought it would be? Nope, it is in a lot of decks. In a lot of decks. Dragapult is still just very good, despite Lili's Clefairy, and it playing up against decks with Lili's Clefairy. They can just beat a lot of the decks with Lili's Clefairy. Dragapult's just kind of like that. Would you play Squawkabilly and Pult? No clue. I have not tested Dragapult in a long time. I don't want to. Also, that's another way, the way you can think about this. No one actually wants to play Squawkabilly in the deck. You play Squawkabilly in the deck because it increases your win rate to the point where it's worth including. But no one actually wants to play Squawkabilly. Or having the card, if playing Squawkabilly increases your win rate, you play the card. But it's a 2-prize Pokemon with 160 HP. Nobody wants to put Squawkabilly in their deck. But if it increases your win rate, you play the card, because that's how you play Pokemon. Procedure term is this? This is final round. Both players are in top cut. This is kind of just like almost like a formality match. I mean, it will adjust seeding. The seeding will change based on who wins here, but and so far what we've seen is a little bit of Budew action on the Raging Bolt side. They haven't got a whole ton going. They've actually attached to Fezandipity 2 times here, and we might see a third attachment. They do have a third energy. Are we going to see Fez KO Dreepy here? That would actually be kind of funny. Yo, the Fez carry is crazy here. Take out the Dreepy with the energy. Into an S-Ball here. Yeah, did they have access to the Shaman and chose not to get it? All right, we grab our own Fezandipity here. What deck are you going to be playing at Atlanta if you are and if you want to? ADP-zation. Quad Fez is winning. The Cruel Arrow's going crazy. All right, here we go. Fez for 3. I mean, we could find, like, if they're playing Crystal, they could find Candy. Dragapult. Oh, no. They just have Dracloaks, bro. Is the Fez gonna spawn trap? Dude, this would be crazy if they just lose to their... If the Fez literally just spawn traps the squad. Has Fez ever looked this dangerous? Wait, they play Shaman! Wait, could we have not, like, crafted our bench a little bit better to be able to get Shaman in play? Did it just never come up? What does Brock do? Brock searches for 2 basics and puts them in your hand, or 1 evolution and puts it in your hand. You get to pick, you have to pick between the 2. I mean, we have the Shaman, dude. We're going... Our bench looks awful. Do the Dracloak, Bravery Charm, and Artisan. Obviously, both pretty mid choices. I think the Artisan has to be the better choice here, though. Potentially bump like a Jamming Tower later on or something like that. We armed for a Nest Ball last turn. We had it if we wanted. Really? I'd have to go back and watch the last turn, to be honest. I've been kind of trolling chat. All right, Shaman's here to protect the Dracloak. But, I mean, a boss does it here still. Boss up Dracloak, knock it out. The Fez might still be putting in work on this next turn. Dude, if we have boss here, that's going to be hilarious. Please have boss KO Dracloak. That would be so good. This Fez putting in the work. Get him. Get him. This attack does 100 damage to one of your opponent's Pokemon. And Rotom getting loaded up as an attacking option. No, there's no boss. All right, we still get the Budew KO, but all right, things are looking pretty scary now for the Raging Bolt side of things. I'm not gonna lie, dude. It was kind of cool. The early Fez play was interesting. I thought there might have really been something there, but the Shaman got found last turn, and yeah, now things are not looking so good here for the Bolt side of things. Here comes an Ultra Ball. I'm able to find, I assume, Dragapult. They're going for the deck shuffle before they use the Dracloak here, which is interesting. I couldn't tell if that was a It looked like Unfair Stamp. It looks like Unfair Stamp. So thinning out the Dragapult maybe before they go for the Fez drop. I mean, if you can find Unfair Stamp KO active here, that is... Whoo! I'm looking good. What, he draw with the pawn? Does he have an Ogre Pawn in hand? Alright, Fez for 3. There's Arven. If that is an Unfair Stamp in the deck, we have Arven for Unfair. Loke first. If we're going for Unfair Stamp, it doesn't really matter here, but they're giving this some big thought. But if you're going to play an Arven this turn, you don't really need to think too hard about this. Oh, I guess like the research for... No, if you're going to play Unfair Stamp, you would play Unfair Stamp here, right? I assume Unfair Stamp plus KO is just too good to ignore. But maybe they got other plans. Let's see. Dreep to the bench. Now we finally stabilized. It seems like every Dragapult player is basically playing Shaman. Just like have a good matchup spread against literally everything. Okay, we're going in with the Arven. Like I said, I think it's Unfair Stamp. If it is, I don't see a reason to not Unfair Stamp here. Oh, no, that's Sparkling Crystal, I think. All right, I was wrong. Don't talk to me. Getting back in there with the Ultra Ball. This will allow us to get a Dusclops here. And we could KO a Hoot Hoot off the bench plus KO the active here, which seems okay. We could also just wait to make this thing into a Dusknoir for later. If you use the Dusclops now, it does give your opponent a prize card to work with, despite us maybe KOing a Hoot Hoot. So it looks like we're maybe just going to establish it for a later use, to be honest, and go to the Dragapult here. Thought here has a Bravery Charm, but what would you even Bravery Charm here? You could put it on the Dreepy so it doesn't get boss KO'd by the Fez, I guess. Well, no, the Fez is gonna die. I guess it would stop like the Fan Rotom from getting a KO. So you're probably looking at 1 on each Hoot Hoot and then 4 on the Fan Rotom, I would assume. Last couple turns, the Raging Bolt player, excuse me, has had absolutely nothing. They've had absolutely nothing the last couple turns. They did get a prize card, and they are going to get a top deck to work with. They might also have Night Stretcher in hand, which means they can just recover the Fezandipity and then draw through with Fez to go from there. They do have a pretty big hand. They've been drawing for every turn for a little while. They got a pretty big hand. The question is, do they actually have anything in it? They're obviously looking for Raging Bolt to knock out active here, which is definitely possible. All right, cycle with Pawn to begin with. That's a start. I see an Ultra Ball. That's a Noctowl. I see another Ultra Ball. I see another Pawn. Okay, they definitely got stuff here. Energy Retrieval. Oh, honestly, that's not that bad. That's pretty good. So they could go Ultra Ball for Noctowl, for Night Stretcher for Fez, plus maybe a Nest Ball. They're eyeing up the Retrieval first here, which is kind of weird. Unless are you going to Ultra Ball them away, I guess. It feels a little bit off. I assume you'd want to just like, well, I mean, maybe it's not that bad. It does kind of generate a card for you to work with. Going in with Vessel first. Maybe that does make sense, though. We'll let them cook here. I think they definitely have the KO this turn. Like, they have 2 Ultra Balls, which could be 2 Noctowls, which means Raging Ball gets the KO on the active here for sure. They definitely have the knockout on the active. That's no question. The question is, how much can we do this turn? How much can we do these turns? Still needs a Sada. Crispin would also work, I think, as well. You're trying to get multiple of Fighting and Lightning in the discard? I mean, you don't really need multiple of Fighting and Lightning in the discard pile here, though. You just need a single Fighting or Lightning in the discard pile here. I guess you have the Baby Bolt in hand as your second Ancient Pokemon here. So I feel like if this Ultra Ball, you go Noctowl for Nest Ball plus... I feel like you want to set up... You want to draw with Fez. So you go Nest Ball, hold it. Night Stretcher for Fez, use Fez, then go from there. We'll see. There's the Owl. In my head, that's what I would take here. Would just be Night Stretcher, Nest Ball. And then we have Ultra Ball for second Owl. Sada plus Nest Ball is also fine, though. He needs Area 0. He has Area 0 in hand here. All right, so it looks like we're going to commit to the Sada play before the Fez draw, which I guess is fine. In fact, you maybe don't even need to put Fez in play here, because if the Dragapult player recovers on their next turn and sets up another Dragapult, they're never taking a knockout on the following turn to actually give you access to Fez draw. So getting Fez draw right now isn't like that valuable. Yeah, it's like not that valuable. We have an Area 0 in hand, Burrito. We could do Raging Bolt, Fez. We still have one bench race left to work with. I do assume we do want to. I assume we want to actually evolve this Hoothoot to a Noctowl and use it probably before we get the stadium bumped. All right, there's the Sada. We have a Lightning in our hand, so the fighting will go to the active. We might have one of each in the hand, to be honest. All right, draw 3. I said we have another Ultra Ball in hand, so that could become another Noctowl. I see another Raging Bolt in the hand as well. The active is definitely KO'd here, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, we're definitely getting the KO on the active. The question is, how much more can we set up this turn to be prepared for getting potentially Iono'd? But for the Raging Bolt player to have a good turn, it's not just about Iono. They need Iono plus Candy, Dragapult, Crystal, Energy. They need a lot. But the board state here on the Raging Bolt side of things isn't that good. This is like a pretty weak board state. So do you see good use for the Baby Bolt? I know he's a bench timer, but I'd love to hear your take. It seems okay. It seems okay. It probably is correct to use, but it really depends on how popular Shaman is. It depends on the Shaman. What was the word we were using earlier that I really liked? And what was the word I was using? It depends on Shaman's like up and trend. It depends on the Shaman's trend. Yeah, depends on how Shaman is trending. It might be worth to always include no matter what, especially if there's matchups that never play Shaman, but it's good against. But it might just come down to how Shaman trends, to be honest. All right, gonna start with the Fez for 3 here. I feel like we definitely want to try and stress. Well, honestly, if we get Candy, Dragapult, attack, and just KO. Well, there's 2 Hoodoos on the bench now. I take it back. I see Candy, I see Dragapult. I think they have Crystal in hand. I don't think they have an Iono, which that kind of sucks. You could get Dusknoir here and KO both Hoothoots, plus punch the active. You might not even need to KO the Hootoots if you can just find an Iono this turn. But we don't have that yet, I don't think. We have Candy Dragapult. I think the Crystal's in the hand. I might be wrong on that, where the Crystal is. 2 Iono prized? Oh, sheesh. Who knows if they even have... No, Crystal's in the deck. I don't know why I thought it was in the hand. They might just be kind of stuck here. They might just attack and hope that... Now, honestly, this turn, like... I think you have an Arven in hand. No Iono access. I think you just go Arven to get the Crystal, get an Energy, Candy Dragapult, Op Dusknoir if you can find it, and just KO both Hoothoots plus punch the active. And then hope that the win doesn't happen on the other side of that from your opponent. How many turns should it take Raging Bolt to get the energy and play for another KO? I mean, it can take them 1 turn. They can do it next turn, depending on how they draw. I guess maybe there's no Latias on the bench right now, and the bench is locked, so maybe there's some... Is there ever like a counter catcher trap something in the active play? Maybe not. It's the only other thing that I can think of that you could hope for. You shuffle the deck and then starts to look at it again. Is that legal? Yeah. Oh, we're going for the research here. It looks like there was a counter catcher in the hand. Doesn't go for it. Oh, there wasn't an Arven in the hand, actually. I thought there was. And no Crystal. Double Night Stretcher. Yikes. So we are either... We can go to the active and punch the active for 70, but obviously that's not very good. This game is probably over. Yeah, I think Raging Ball is gonna be able to pull this one off. I mean, they have Ultra Ball for Noctowl. That should be enough. That should be enough to win the game on this next turn. Have the Squawkabilly with a Prime Catcher Sada combo or something like that. Oh well, it happens. A little bit of a lackluster game. Oh, hold on. All right. All right, I'm getting a little bit too far out of myself. We got Budew to slow things down. Double Night Stretcher, get the energy for turn. I'm like ready to pack it up. Hang on, we're not done yet. Calm down, chat. Hold your horses. And we can start with the pawn cycle here. Ooh, and honestly, the hand here on the other side, it was super item reliant. It was reliant on Ultra Ball for Noctowl. All player could have been Shreepy in hand. Yeah, they could have. Area 0 is active. Definitely made a mistake there. Okay, we cycled into Prime Catcher. Doesn't matter though, we are item locked, and I don't see Asada, so I think it's just gonna have to be a pass. The other play they could have made... Uh-oh. Dude, is there actually a play here? No way. I'm getting too far ahead of myself, I guess. Okay, hold up, hold up. Dude, Budew is just so good. Budew is just so good. We actually have game if we play Hawlucha. And we can find a Gust plus Hawlucha. That's crazy. If we have Gust Hawlucha, we win. The question is just, do we have Gust Hawlucha? We can Dusclops the Hoot Hoot, Hawlucha the Ogerpon, Countercatcher or Boss Ogerpon, knock out Ogerpon, Hoot Hoot, and Fanrotom. I don't know if there's a Hawlucha to work with though. Is Boss in hand? Yeah, but he needs 10 damage on the Ogerpon, right? We're coming up a little bit. The Hawlucha's in there. There is a Hawlucha. We got to get access to it though. The other play he could have done here was Countercatcher or Boss Punch Ogerpon with Budew. If we didn't have the Hawlucha combo to win. Now we have game next turn, but I wonder if we could have gusted Ogerpon this turn and punched it for 10, and then had Gust next turn as well. Now there's a Latios top deck, but we have no bench space to move this out of the active. Although even if we could, I don't even know if we would. That's a pass. That's a game. Oh my gosh, bro. What? That is an insane dub. That is crazy. Did we top deck Hawlucha there as well? Dude, what an insane comeback. No Iono. We didn't even have an Iono. Didn't even have an Iono. Terrible start. Insane comeback, bro. That's crazy. Oh my gosh.